Yeah, he's not used to when shit gets real.
Yeah, he's got little dick energy.
Hello, my name is Steve.
And I'm David.
And this is episode 8 of Anime Plus, where we are currently talking about the anime Orb on the Movements of the Earth. This week's episode we are discussing is episode 22.
So we pick up, as we always do, immediately where we leave off. This show is really good at just being like, here's the next part. They trying to escape. Draka and Schmidt plan their grand escape while the rest of the Order prepare themselves for battle against the church. Meanwhile, Noak and his merry band of church knights are like praying on their way to go fight these people, and the other Inquisitor has like a nervous breakdown about the explosion that they saw. They begin their assault, and with the beginning of the assault, Draka and Schmidt see their chance to escape when a full frontal melee breaks out after the Order pops out of their shed in a testudo formation, which is an ancient Roman shield formation, to reduce the efficacy of arrows in combat. Noak immediately recognizes it as a testudo and is about to tell the other Inquisitor that they should probably engage it in close combat when the other Inquisitor just orders a full-on charge forward, which causes this big melee to break out. And while they're paying attention to the close combat, Draka and Schmidt murder two men on horseback.
That was so clean.
It was fucking clean. Holy shit. Schmidt.
Just surprise from behind.
Schmidt is just effective with a sword.
Oh, yeah.
They break out and start hoofing it.
Chase ensues.
Noak grabs two of his homies, realizing that Draka and Schmidt are the real targets, while this group of warriors that are fighting is just a diversion, quickly takes chase after the two and are gaining very quickly on Draka and Schmidt. Schmidt has this realization that they're not going to escape unless he does something. He quickly tells Draka, like, hey, normally I don't question my own decisions, but right now I'm questioning my own decision. And then she's like, what? And he goes, arrivederci.
Turns
around and fights Noak and the two guards, quickly dispatching one with a knife, and then tackles Noak and the other guard off their horses, gets into a sword fight, which, beautiful dispatch of that first sword fight, receives a stab from the guard that he thought died from the knife, quickly kills him, and while he's like processing the fact that there's a sword in his side, Noak runs him through the neck. As he's dying, Noak kind of gives this like holier than thou speech where Schmidt like turns and is like, at least I know what I died for. There
was a part of me who was like, he's going to say something about Yolenta.
I know. I kept thinking that the whole episode.
But nope.
Noak passes out from a likely concussion and wakes up with his horse standing over him like he is Aragorn in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Which, meanwhile, Draka has gone to the wrong church. And by the wrong church, I mean she went where she wanted to go.
Yeah.
But she did not follow the plan. Instead of going to the Protestants, she went to the Catholics and went to Bishop Antony. She basically has him woken up in the middle of the night and has this big, huge conversation with him about let's make heliocentrism profitable by sparking the desire for the masses to be entertained. She thinks that written word will be stimulating for the average peasant, and she thinks that they can make a fuck ton of money. She then kind of leads into the fact that it's heliocentrism, which Anthony's like, this is blasphemy. And then she goes, but is it? Can you think of anywhere else where it is? And he's like, yeah, of course. Oh, no. And so she basically plays on the fact that Anthony's kind of greedy. And they cut a deal where she's going to get 20% of the profits. He's going to get 80% of the profits. And then while this is happening, Noak follows Draka's trail to the church. And as she's about to take this courier pigeon to send out the letter that Yolenta wanted to send out, Noak like, stop the wedding. I mean, stop what you're doing. The bishop, she's a heretic. And the bishop's like, I know. And then we have this whole big, like, making Noak question his entire existence speech where the bishop's just like, your whole life is a lie because my dad hated something for probably stupid reasons. It's like, you are the only one that ever was assigned to these heliocentrism things. And Noak's just like, blah.
The look on his face, it like his stomach dropped out when he realized what was happening.
I thought he was going to like fly into a rage and kill the bishop. But at the same time, that kind of goes against his character. I don't see him like flying into a rage and losing control. He always seems collected enough to keep a hold of like going into a primal rage. The episode ended after all that, but
Yeah, after like he collapses into the pew as he's realizing that this guy may be telling it. So one thing I think that this entire conversation between Antony and Nowak is evaporating any air of intelligence and purpose that Nowak has always carried with him. So I think in the previous arc, when we first met Antony when he was younger, I think we misrepresented Nowak's cunningness with just blind obediency in how he interacted with Antony when Antony was like pretty much calling him a dumbass, and how he was very apologetic and respectful. I think at this point, seeing their interaction now and seeing all of Nowak's confidence just evaporate, he now feels presented as an imbecile who has just been blindly following orders. And Antony even brings that up. He's like, "Why are you even doing this?" And Nowak is like, and Antony counters when he's stammering, going, how can you even have any conviction with this when you don't even understand what you're supposedly fighting against? You're just a pawn.
And then I like how he like name drops all the heretics that he executed.
Yeah.
What about Raffle or Hubert or Bateni or Otzi?
Yeah.
I was like, how dare you stand where they stood?
Yeah, then Antony...
The only one I didn't care about was Hubert, but
that's fair.
Raffle and Otzi and Bateni, I was like, you fucker.
So the theory that Antony had posed, knowing that his father earlier in his life had been studying the cosmos, was that something had changed that made him angry about cosmology. It seemed like he was trying to tie Pataki and the first heretic that we met, whose name I don't remember, may have also been part of the group that Antony's father was a part of, or at least Pataki, which led to this succession of punishment. Perhaps they considered a concept he came up with as being foolish, rightfully or wrongfully, and the motherfucker just carried this grudge into their death.
Potentially.
That's pretty much how Antony was trying to spin it. He's
Yeah.
like, my father, you did all of this for my father because my father had personal grievances. Like, you're an idiot.
Get fucked, idiot. I want to see the fallout. Also, when he shit on him and he's just like, no one is ever going to remember your name in history. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, because Antony was talking about how all the supposed records of Nowak's activities never really existed and or have been destroyed. And Nowak's records are currently being destroyed on his orders. So...
damn.
Get fucked. Oh, yeah. And I killed your daughter.
When he said my daughter, I was going to be like, say the name. Say the name so Draka could be like,
wait a minute. Yes.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
If Nowak never finds out, I will be okay with that. But I really want to see how much more in despair he can fall if he finds the truth out.
Yeah.
Not that I really actually have any ill will towards Nowak. He's been a good character.
Yeah.
He's been a foil, but he hasn't been an antagonist necessarily. There really isn't good or bad in this story.
Right.
It's just the conflict of beliefs.
Yes.
This episode, more than any other, I think really highlights the underlying message that this story is trying to tell, and that's the message of censorship and the dangers of censorship. And I'm glad that we got to see a continuing conversation between Antony and Draka because of the level of intelligence that she has and how worthy of a debater he is for her. Yeah, this was a great episode. Starts out with fantastic action sequence and just brutal violence. That whole fight between Schmidt and the three amigos was fantastic.
Also, when they busted out the testudo formation, I was like, shut up. Is that a testudo? I called it even before because I had seen the shields in the armory, and I'm like, those look like Roman shields.
So I know.
And then they did the line of crossbows, and I'm like, they're going to come out in a testudo formation. And then they did. I was like, I fucking called it.
See, for me, I've never known the name of that formation. I said it in Japanese, Tetsudo. I'm like, the hell is Tetsudo? Why would he know a Japanese thing? So I never knew the name.
Testudo.
It was like Tetsudo.
It's Latin for tortoise or turtle. Turtle or tortoise.
All right. Well, thanks for listening as we get pretty close to the end of this journey for Orb. I'm very excited to see how this story wraps up because it's been so good. There has not been a single moment of this show that has been bad.
Yeah.
Except for the guy falling on his sword, but that's stylistic choices.
Yeah.
And that was like a second.
And even Noak called out, that's bullshit.
Yeah. So don't forget our regular podcast that comes out on Fridays, where we are talking about 3 other shows that are airing this season: Zenshu, Ubel, Blatt, and Sakamoto Days. Otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe, drop us a message, find us in Discord and our socials below. And we will see you guys next time.
Deuces.